What's up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Jared. I'm here with the Crypto Connection crew with Winston and Marcus. What's going on, y'all?
Feeling good. Feeling great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
How you doing, Marcus?
Chilling out here in the hotel. You know, my Black Tech Nova.
Yeah, we're gonna get into where he's at. He's at a nice location. We're gonna get into it. So it's been a while since we did episode. This is episode number 7. We're gonna get right back into it. We can get right back in the groove and start hitting y'all up, hopefully weekly or bi-weekly again. But let's get right into it. Winston prepared a nice presentation for you all. You know how he do. He loves to get his crypto great presentation skills on. So I'm gonna turn it over to him to get us started.
All right, appreciate that. So let me get my screen share on. All right, let's get this going here. So this is something that I've been working on as part of a show I'm putting together. I think I'm gonna call it the Greed series, but just want to talk about money in general, the macro environment, and how did we get to where we are today? Because you know, it's scary for a lot of people. A lot of things are crashing, and some people just don't even know why. Like, how was crypto so hot just a few months ago, and now it's not? So let me start off with this video here. This is one of the reasons why the market got so hot.
Sitting in this bed in the studio apartment, and I just became a millionaire right now.
This is Glauber Contasoto, aka
the Doge Father, Slum Doge Millionaire, Reservoir Doge.
No matter what you call him, his claim to fame is that he went all in on a meme-based cryptocurrency called Dogecoin. And in 69 days, he went from a struggling music producer to a millionaire. On paper, at least. But before we get started...
All right, so that's 2021. That's 2020, 2021. That was the market. Everybody was just throwing money in anything, throwing market money in the air, and people were cashing out. Let's fast forward. This is where we are now. Google ads. All right, y'all don't want to see that. No mind. Basically, that was CNBC saying that the market is tore up. Here's a disclaimer. Y'all look at that, take a snapshot. Don't sue us about anything that we're talking about. All right. So let's talk about Bitcoin and where Bitcoin is specifically. The market is down in general. But if y'all just go back to a previous episode, I know we talked about it before. Bitcoin can drop by 8% at any time. And it has before, and more than likely we'll do it again. And it hasn't quite hit 80, but it's definitely in the 70-something% range down. So it is fall from the sky, it's fall from grace. The moon, if you want to call it, from 69K down to about 20K. And that's where we're sitting right now. And if we look at the market cap of Bitcoin from last year to now, we've seen that 600 billion up to over $1 trillion and back down to under around 500 billion. And this is the first time, well, maybe not the very first time, but a lot of people are talking about, like, historically, Bitcoin doesn't fall below the previous all-time high during the last bull market. So it's the first time in history that this has happened. So how is that? How did that happen? How did we get here to this point where all this money came into the market and now it evaporated? Well, you know what happened? This right here. The money printer got turned on. 2020 and 2021, the money printer was going brrr. All right, so let's talk about that. And this started before 2020. 35% of all the money that ever existed got printed in 2021 alone. Like that's just crazy to even think about. But this quantitative easing, so QE that you see at the top here, this started way before that. So with one of our previous Fed chairs introduced this form of quantitative easing, so basically buying securities from the market. So the Fed, they have a number of tools to, I don't want to say manipulate, I don't want to use the word manipulate, but to have an impact on what the market is doing at a whole. But back in, you can see in 2008, from way back here, it was about $1 trillion worth of QE that was in the market. And you can see this rise over time, but bam, 2020 hits and look at this skyrocket of QE. So basically the Fed buys treasuries off the market. They buy bonds and other securities and they put money in the market. So that's how money is printed. So when people say the Fed is printing money, they're actually buying securities. So that could be mortgage-backed securities, that could be treasury bonds. So it's just like if I bought something from you, you're giving me something and I'm giving you money. And that's how the Fed puts money into the economy. Now, some people just call it fake money. You know, they just basically adding ones to zeros. And I mean, that's kind of how it happens too. But basically, they're putting stuff on their balance sheet, and now they're doing the opposite. So they're doing quantitative destruction and basically not buying all those assets, and they're doing the opposite. So now they're offloading the asset sheet, and that money is not flowing into the market like it did over the past 2 years. And so this chart I pulled from shadowstats.com. It's a site that I recommend people look at. They look at inflation in different ways. So they give you some statistics that you won't find on some other sources, even some government sources, but they pull that data and then they really analyze a number of things. So these lines that you see here is for money supply. There's different levels of money supply. I think it goes up to either 5 or 6, the M1 through M5 or M6. But M1 money is circulating money, so money in checking accounts. M2 is the savings accounts plus the M1 money, any deposits under 100K. And M3 is the M1 plus the M2 plus larger deposits like institutional money market funds. And this chart here kind of mimics what we saw earlier, but then bam, 2020, look at the spike in the M1 supply. So money in checking accounts, that's your money, that's our money. Money that's under that 100K mark that's sitting in checking accounts. And you just see, look how the supply went after all these years. Look at the M1 supply. And that money just flowed into our households, into your household, everybody's household. So $5 trillion was spent in the last 2 years, from 2020 and 2021. $5 trillion was pumped into the market. And these are just some of the dates. You got a few billion in March of 2020, and then bam, 2.3 trillion. That was the first big stimulus package that came out. April, another $484 billion. And then this is where the party started right here. Summer of 2020, PPP loans, EIDL loans. You had the low wage assistance. You had the student loan forbearance, the housing deferments. You had the car loan deferment. So people had no bills and stimulus checks coming in. And that PPP loan, I know in your neck of the woods, people were just running it up left and right. You know, I can't tell you the number of calls and texts I got about people saying, look, I can get you, cousin, I can get you 10 racks real quick. I got them calls, and I'm sure you got them too, about people with their PPP loans. But then 2020 is still continuing, and again, 1.9 trillion in 2021. And there's possibly more to come. So there's a Build Back Better Act that they're trying to push through. I don't know if this is going to go through or not, but all of this money that went into the economy, that's why we're sitting at this inflation. And it's not just the past 2 years, but so much money came in that everything skyrocketed, right? Everything skyrocketed. And so prices go up as a result. And this is not a political thing. Democrats and Republicans spend money. So I know, whatever side of the aisle that you stand on, they're like, oh, it's Biden fault, oh, it's Trump fault, Clinton, Obama, who you can blame all of them, blame every single one of them. This is our debt going back from the 80s. I know some people say Reagan was the best president ever, but he got some debt, and Clinton got some debt, and then Bush got some debt, Barack, all of them spend a bunch of money. So, hopefully y'all can stop beefing about which one is better and which one is not. All right. So where did that money flow through, and how does this relate to crypto? All right. So let's take a look at this. This chart just kind of breaks down where stimulus money went. All right, so we had the stimulus checks, right? I remember getting check after check from the government. And I remember when those checks started coming in, I called my mom and I was like, "Ma, in all your years of living, have you ever got this much money from the government?" And she was like, "Son, yeah, they about to give you another one, this and that." I was like, "Man, something wrong." I said, something is wrong. If they're giving you this much money, it must be terrible. So you got the stimulus checks. And say you lost your job, so you got unemployment benefits, and then the heightened benefit from the Federal Reserve. So people was getting the state and the federal benefit. And let's say you got some children, so you got the child tax credit. And then you got the SNAP assistance. You got the delayed student loans. You got all this stuff coming in your house, and then you don't have the bills, right? On top of that, let's say you got the PPP and the EIDL. Let's, Pookie hooked you up. You got the PPP loan. You got your EIDL loan. So you got all this money that flowed into your household. You have nothing but time. You got a bunch of money and no bills. What you going to do with that? Well, I'm going to put this money. I got Cash App. I got Coinbase. I got Robinhood. I got some extra cash, and I ain't got nothing but time. So that money flowed into all of these apps. These apps, I love them. I love Square, love Coinbase, Robinhood, invest in all of them. But all this retail money plus institutional money was flowing through this on the retail side. But that money, I want to put all this on just retail because institutions, they had a bunch of money. So now VCs are just throwing money into any and everything. And so they were putting money into projects that didn't have any real utility. Even some of the ones that were promising real utility, it still was speculation. So they had extra money. We had extra money. Everybody just threw their money into GameStop, AMC, Bitcoin, Doge, Shiba Inu, Floki Unu, all the Unus that y'all love. That's where that money came from. So I was watching All In podcasts, and they said basically just forget the prices that you saw in 2021 and 2022 because it wasn't based on anything. It was just fake money going into the market. Now, if we back up and look at the market just over time, so from 2009 to 2020, it was just a steady rise. But in Bitcoin itself, from 2018 to 2020, it was basically flat. It went down and then it was flat for a few years and then it went crazy. And why is that? Because just like we were talking about before, all the money that came into the market. So there was really, I don't want to say there was no reason for the market to react the way that it did, because there was development the entire time in the crypto market and even in Bitcoin itself. But all this money came in, the boom came in because of all the money that came in through the QE or the quantitative easing. So you got on one end, people was investing in Bitcoin, but other people heard about the Dogecoin millionaire. They was gambling. They was putting money in and stuff like that. And then you got leverage. So now you can take your crypto, made 100 racks in your Dogecoin. You can take that, leverage that, take a loan out, right? I'm going to take my loan and I'm going to put in this DeFi, and then I'm going to get some more leverage. So I'm going to take 50% off of that and then put it into this other platform and get some more leverage, and just the cycle continue. And it wasn't just retail. A lot of large companies and VCs were doing this as well. And this is one that I personally did. Now, this is the far end degen side. Like this, when you hear about degens, it's like aping into like crazy stuff. So this is not even stuff that I would even recommend. But when you start to see APYs of stuff like this, 30,000, this is even low for some of the own forks that was out there. So they had some 60,000, 90,000 APY. That's a sign that it's just too much money in the market. We at the top. And obviously all that stuff folded up. So it's a house of cards, leverage on top of loans, on top of leverage, on top of stable coins, on top of all kind of stuff, and it collapsed. And one of the big ones that helped to pop the market was Terra Luna. And here we are. Terra Luna has had a cascading effect on other things, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that today. But that's all I had for that part of it. This is going to be a part of a bigger series, so check that out. Subscribe here. Subscribe on my other channel, and that's all I got, fellas.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you brought the leveraging part because that's important personally. I thought that was the biggest part, honestly, why the crypto market fell, was because of over leveraging. Not just like you said, your normal consumers, your everyday, but the VC funds, your big equity heads, like your private sector. People go jumped in, like I said, bad projects. Right now, I'm honestly past month is interesting tracking projects that are saying they're going on a yearly hiatus, or saying that we are moving our treasury from ETH to USDC. Since we talk about stablecoins falling, I agree, man. I think the over leveraging part of flash loans at the end of the day, at first, like I said, over leveraging, that's how people are doing on the crypto scene, flash loans. Ava is a very common protocol. People use it for that, very popular. And now they're on Ava version 2, and I think they're working on Ava version 3 as well. So that's they got to get regulated for sure. Honestly, that's why I never got to flash loan leveraging. It was when I saw the first YouTube video where you could just literally borrow $1,000 off of $100 basically, and then as long as the interest rate that you're borrowing is lower than the next loan you're going to grab with that $1,000, you could just compound. So you could turn 100 into like $1 million in like 10 minutes or something like that. And it was crazy. And I didn't really believe it, but you honestly can. You honestly can. Like you can really just do it, and it's wild. So yeah, like I said, degen shit. I'm not about the degen stuff. It's risky. It's risky. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, man.
Yeah, man, that was a great presentation, man. So that was great, bro. Like I didn't realize it was that much money they pumped to the government. I mean, to the economy. I knew it was a lot, but I didn't know it was that much. Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Great presentation, man.
Thank you.
Go ahead. What you about to say, Winston?
No, I think you know, I think more people are paying attention to it now because, you know, I remember I was talking about inflation like last summer and nobody really cared. You know, I would talk about, you know, man, we got 6% inflation, 7% inflation, and people just like, well, man, I still get my stimulus check, so I don't care how much I inflate. You know, I'm getting so much money. But now that, you know, the music will stop, they're gonna turn on the second line music, you know, it's time to go home. And, you know, there's no more checks coming in, and you go to the grocery store and your bill is off the chain and your electricity bill, and then you go get the gas, you just like, wait, hold on, what's going on? So now when I talk about these things, people are like, dang, that's what happened. So I think just knowing, like having a good idea of what's going on at the economy at large, you can really drill down and like, okay, now this is why real estate is doing this, stock market and crypto. It's all tied together.
Yeah, I gotta say, personally, as of like 2022, I have to say at this point, crypto, everything's in tandem. I can't really say when people say crypto doesn't move with the SPY or the QQQ, I'm like, what are you guys looking at? Because they all go in tandem. Like you're saying on microcycles, this year I had pretty deep in microcycles myself, and 100%, man, they follow. And honestly, the past 2-3 years, Bitcoin and the SPY and Ethereum, honestly, have been trading each other. Like I know the downs and ups might be a little sharp, but those charts are pretty close. So the way I see it, yeah, we're all in tandem now, like as well as real estate. Like you're saying right now, what people are rolling back permits and old constructions. And I hear in Texas, man, they're a bunch of old so back behind, they have to reduce the pricing. So now they're getting new construction homes for like $280. So it's kind of crazy right now. But it's like, who wants that interest rate of like 7.6 right now to get a home mortgage loan? So it's a balancing act, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. Definitely in tandem.
Yeah, that's what's up. So let's go to you, Marcus. Please let the people know where you at right now, what location you at right now doing this podcast. Tell them what you've been getting into for the last couple of days.
Facts. Right now, I am currently at Black Tech NOLA. It is the second official Black Tech NOLA hub event in New Orleans, Louisiana. They had one prior to COVID, so this is like the first real big one right back at it. It's actually pretty great. Personally, the first time I've ever been surrounded by completely, and I want to say it's honestly, completely Black tech crowd. We're talking FinTech, we're talking blockchain technology, we're talking content creators from the metaverse, from 3D Blender designs to Unity to just people making music videos for digital production to photography. It's really a beautiful sight, man, honestly, for the New Orleans community, knowing that technology helps really build it out. And in turn, that they're really trying to push their own cybersecurity community. Just one of the beautiful things I've seen in a long time. Actually, why I moved here, I'm sad it took 8 years for it to really develop and become something, but it's finally something. So, yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. Hold on. What you telling people about what's coming up next? Black Tech NOLA. What's the upcoming festival that's coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I was about to say this weekend. Yeah, I know Black Tech NOLA today is the last day. Today was video games media. Yesterday was NFT, Black and NFT. So that was very interesting. Talking about we had an OG. His name was Israel Wilson. He has been this since about 2012, man. Yeah, listen knows. Yo, tell me why I met this gentleman, talked to him one-on-ones, drinking, had a great time. Like literally, actually he offered me a job, so we'll be working together eventually on some couple projects, doing some consulting work for him. He's got another group project he's running down here in October. I'll make sure I push that information out to everybody because the educational program is pushing to the city. It's going to be a yearly thing. And there's also this weekend free event, Essence Tech. I know if people are familiar with Essence Festival, if you go to the website, they have a tech section now. It's completely free. It's a convention center, 3 days, whole metaverse, VR headsets. And, one of the biggest metaverse creative arts is going to be there. She's a star. Like, she's magnificent. She's doing the whole booth thing. It's going to be a great experience.
That's what's up, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess as far as people looking for careers and stuff, this was more like a networking event, career fair kind of thing. So you had JP Morgan for the biggest and Amazon for the biggest like plays here. Medium plays, you had T-Mobile, some of the local construction companies. You had the city undevelopment programs. You had the Historical Society was here. You had, I think I'm missing one more, man. Oh, the Tourist Commission group that got built in 2021 that now push funding to businesses and to who provide tourism and also help push New Orleans culture and preserve it. So that is a big push. Getting local New Orleans artists internationally, that apparently is a big push for the city, and getting them digital and making sure that people can see them around the world and get merchandise sales. They're really pushing that. So I'm looking. There's a lot of grants for the people doing tech and tourist business combination and getting the word out there, stuff like that. So I'm also trying to look up at that. And that's woman held. And basically, there's like 2 women right now in City Hall. They're basically like the queens of metaverse kind of thing. So, and that's your line to Central, who I also talked to yesterday about this stuff. So I talked to Central and the sheriff of NOLA, and they're all looking to get enlightened and educated on blockchain and how it can incorporate and be used in the city for services and like help us long term. Also, Knicks, the big parade, you guys know the big social group here in the city. They also joined up with what's the football player, Saints guy, really popular, has a foundation here. What's his name? Drew Brees, I guess his name. I'm a football guy. I don't really care. I don't care. I'm a Dolphins fan. Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah, only the biggest saint ever.
Anyway, so this gentleman apparently he's got a lot of education programs for kids, right? And that's his push and charity. He teamed up with Knicks. They have a 40-kid program they're opening up, I think, next month. And they have a whole little community. They're leasing Eiffel. Remember Eiffel, the club? It got shut down. They're leasing out that space. I went to it yesterday. It's beautiful. They're using it to educate 40 kids on how to get into blockchain, minting, and selling NFTs from start to finish. From that point on, their prototype, they'll learn how quickly we do more onboarding, getting more kids educated, spreading the word to the adults, and doing more things in the community. That's what they're trying to do. So I might link up with them a little bit more. They got a lot of community support from like Big Frida and a few other big names, but it really is a group for like the 1%ers in NOLA. Like the head of it is some venture capitalist fund guy. I looked up to him and stuff like that. It's a little 1%ish. They're kind of trying to take advantage of people who know more of the technology, but they do have the funding and the resources. So I'm gonna see what I can do with that stuff. Besides that, a lot of black coders, man. A lot of black coders here. That was always great. A lot of black and women coders. Let me note that. 80% women. It's crazy. There's nothing but women here, honestly. It's way more women than men here, straight up.
Man, yeah, brothers, we gotta catch up.
Yeah, I don't understand why we're not like. I grew up seeing a lot of older tech guys, but looking at this event, it's like women are the ones talking, they're the ones speaking, they're the ones running the booths. They're literally a woman. I think his name is Sandra. I don't want to say her name wrong. The one who actually running this organization. Like, it's interesting. Like, it's women are literally leading everything in tech in the city and a lot of other things. But it's just interesting. Like, man, why are there no men at all in any of these circles, positions, talking, speaking? Like the host is the local guy here is oh man, what's his name? Shoot, man, I forgot his name. The dude with the dreads. He's a local guy. I'm sure you've probably seen him. DC Paul. He's their host here. Other than there's no other like male. Really, there is no other guys who are doing it. I've met some like Black Wall Street guys a couple times, but they're just like visiting and checking things out. But no one here is really like for male tech. No one's really doing stuff, man. A lot of women-owned tech companies, man. I ran into a woman yesterday. She runs her own cybersecurity firm out of here, Atlanta, Mississippi, and California, man. She's killing it, man, destroying it. So she's doing some chapters here. Women are killing it. Like they ain't wasting no time, bro. They really aren't. And they're educating themselves. Mississippi, dude, they got their tech sector. People are sleeping on them. There's some tech women out there who are willing to do some work, coding, back-end developer, stack work. Like, it's crazy. So there's potential. But I don't know why people sleep on themselves when it comes to tech, because they're missing out for sure.
Well, I think the issue is a lot of males in IT don't really attend conferences. Like,
oh yeah, Oh,
They
I can
really
see.
don't attend IT conferences.
I can see we really don't. I'm looking around like, like, really don't. Yeah.
Like I live in the city, and I knew about the Black Tech Nola, but I only knew about it because of you. And then I signed up a year ago, but I forgot all about it. If you ain't say anything about it, I wouldn't even know anything about it.
So everybody said the same thing. They're not good at marketing their Black Tech Nola. Really did a good job. They saw it on billboards. I was like, I found out about it. I was literally Googling NFT meetups in the city because I was so mad. I'm like, I'm trying to find collaboration work with people to do this stuff. I couldn't find it. I found these guys on Google. So like I had to find it myself. So I feel you.
Do you see a lot of Black blockchain NFT companies that reside in New Orleans?
Dude, man, that was my number one question. I was like, who is hiring for blockchain? Like JP Morgan, are you looking for it? Amazon, are you looking for it? T-Mobile, like, do you know? I was like, I'm building a blockchain resume as we speak. But yes, Amazon is hiring. They're looking for all sectors, from the sales to the marketing to the research to the coding, front end and back end. JP Morgan, they're running a very aggressive computer science hiring campaign right now. So any type of programming, software engineers, they're about it for sure. I've had nothing but good things, but honestly, in the city, it's really local projects. A lot of people locally. I ran into a gentleman here. He's working he's got his own company, retired, but he's doing things on the side for the city. Like I said, the Knicks project. There's actually 2 local projects here that's going on. My own project. A couple of guys I linked up here who didn't know the knowledge but had ideas. Like, it's really local, I think, but it's all Black. I can admit maybe 1 or 2 white guys are into it, but it's mostly Black here trying to do the blockchain. So that's why I really like it. Yeah, as far as companies, there really aren't really blockchain companies. This is Web3, and you don't really need an LLC technically. Like, when you're really kind of doing it, you're really just building services. But I ran into a gentleman, like I said, that is.
He went into the black hole.
Yeah. He's gone.
He was on the road.
Yeah, he'll come back.
Man, that's good. That's good. I was going to ask you and him, because I'm up in the Atlanta area. Just what does it look like in the city now as far as?
My bad.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
I didn't mean to. I think so. I left off with the businesses, right? Yeah. So like the Israel Wilson, he's worked on some side pushes storage, which is a decentralized package storage system, competes with IPFS as well as Amazon. And I ran into a gentleman who's trying to make a decentralized party tracking app. That was pretty cool. POS system. Israel also is looking to trying to make a POS system on Near protocol, because clearly Ethereum, maximum about 63 transactions, so you really can't do a POS system on that. So we're looking at Near. There's a lot of things that are happening on Near, and so a lot of people are building there. And Layer Zero, there's upcoming Layer Zero companies, which I really didn't hear about until yesterday. So that's another reason I'm glad I came, because I got educated on that. So basically, for people who don't know Layer Zero, just built-in interoperability between tokens. No need for bridges. You can go from Solana to Avalanche to Polygon within seconds, no issues. That's in theory. It's still fairly new from my understanding. There aren't any back-end applications built up right now at all from my understanding either. It's just people building the back-end API still. But I hear it does work. So I haven't used it myself. I actually talked to a gentleman who he's more deeper. His team actually built a project on Layer Zero. So I'm actually going to see if I can interview for his project and get some consultation work with him and get deeper, so I can see that as well. So that's pretty cool. And not too many people talking about the autonomous secret protocol network. So that's basically blockchain privacy, basically, right? So going on blockchain with basically using Google Chrome incognito, basically, on blockchain. A lot of people they weren't talking about it. I think it's privatized. Some people might use private blockchain for I don't know, private exchanges of private equity money, maybe. I don't know. I really am trying to see the real world implementation of a secret blockchain. Personally, I don't really care, but whatever. It's a thing. We're building it, but I'm trying to see it. Because now in the future, we're going to have sharding, right? And if you look at other blockchains, like Solana has sharding. I don't know if you guys know what sharding is, but
it's sharding or flying?
Yeah, sharding. Just basically being on a block of a block and encrypt it from one into another and confirm. It's like an advanced level 2 version of checksum. That's to me the simplest way to explain it. But sharding is supposed to be the next step in blockchain, right?
Okay.
So
I think Winston had a question for you.
oh yeah, I want to see what up, Winston.
Yeah, bro. You're probably gonna have to come back and explain because you said a lot. Like I was following along with you.
Yeah, I got you.
For the layperson, they're gonna be like, man, I don't know what
Right.
so I was going on. I'm over here getting excited about just hearing the fact that there are so many African American people that are doing all these different things, and like Layer Zero is like really new, and I think that's where
It's super new.
the market is moving. And I guess a way to kind of bring it home is like you think about the internet back in the 90s. You had like Netscape was like a gateway, and AOL was a gateway, and now you just get on the internet. But for me, I'm a little seasoned out here, so I do remember where you had to get on a gateway, whereas now
I remember we had the dial-up modems. I feel you.
Exactly. So when blockchain gets there, that's
you're right. That's what we're doing. It's literally the same thing. We're like, we reinvented Web 2 and Web 3, had the same inefficiencies, and now we're trying to work those inefficiencies out in a more technical and I would say autonomous way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the question I had, and it's really for both of y'all, is because it's been years that I've lived in New Orleans, in the New Orleans metro area. Just what is the, I guess, the atmosphere at large like with adoption of blockchain and NFT and just the culture around crypto? Because I know there's a segment, so like you're obviously at the segment that's in the know. But for the population in general, like, do you see the adoption around the city?
Honestly, as the past couple of weeks, like I said, I've been looking for actual local galleries I could physically visit. As of this month, I've visited 2 NFT local galleries, and again, I've been to my first actual physical in real life NFT creator meetup yesterday. It's people are now, they went from curiosity to being like, I'm interested. I'd check it out a little bit more. I think it's growing. I see a lot more people saying I'm opening up more NFT galleries. So that's definitely going to be a thing to see moving forward. That's no questions about that. I'm going to move forward my own personal Airbnb NFT experience, honestly. So I think it's there. When I saw the city itself, like I said, city legislation, city leaders talking about they want to see how blockchain can service our culture and preserve the Black community and empower us. I mean, clearly people are thinking about it. It's just the knowledge. No one's educated. No one. Everybody just questions. Everybody's saying they're an expert. Everybody says they've done this and that. And people they're scared to listen to people because no one knows who they can listen to. Again, Israel Moses has been around for plus 10 years. He's been working with brand names all over the world, internationally. He's got his own things going on. He's got his LinkedIn profile. He's accredited, right? Which is why I'm trying to link up with him and get him to freaking literally just push me on his stuff. Because then when he's like, hey, this roster, he's my dude Nola, then I can keep moving forward. So, but it's like, it really is in blockchain who you know and who pushes you, like who vouches for you, honestly. Because in blockchain, there's no certificate saying I can guarantee your NFT project is going to sell out because you do this so-and-so business model, because you decided to do this type of whitelisting, this type of marketing. Like, at the end of the day, no one can say that, So it's education, man. People are about it. People want to see how it can affect us in the real world, but they don't know they don't know what it is, and they damn sure don't know how to build it.
Right.
Like you said, they got guys like us, so that's why we're here.
So my from what I see on a daily basis, people are still, they not on nothing. Like, they ain't really messing with blockchain or crypto. Like, they doing the basics. Like, they'll go on Cash App, buy some coins, hopefully they go up high so they can sell it. That's what they on crypto. As far as NFTs, they really ain't got, most people, unless they on art level or Marcus level, our level, they ain't messing with NFTs either. So as for, like Marcus said earlier, it's education thing. I think when the government finally makes a decision on how to govern blockchain crypto technology, I think more people will take it more seriously.
But we can't wait for that, man.
Yeah, I know we can't wait for it. I know we can't wait. I'm just saying, from a general person, people who don't follow anything about crypto blockchain, they gonna wait until the government says go good.
But it's too late. By the time the government approves it,
exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be centralized. We're gonna miss out on our advancements. It's gonna be white owned, 80%, 90%. Dude, Israel said the same thing yesterday. I was like, bro, we're already behind. We're 10 years behind. If you go look at the country, Europe, Spain, Italy, Australia, what they're pushing for blockchain technology, their policies, and how they implement in the real world, they're years ahead of us already, man. Like it's embarrassing how behind we are. Again, multiple people said it in this conference. We are behind in tech in general as a culture. We're decades behind. I had a woman in her 50s telling me in 2022 certificates are the way of the future for not going to college. I had to raise my hand and tell her, ma'am, I graduated in 2010 with no degree, and I've been certificated since then. It's been the way since 2008. I'm sorry, we are just really late. Like, and I don't want to be rude, but I need people in the right frame of mind. We are decades behind.
Right. Exactly. I agree 100%. I agree 110%.
That's why I'm like, education. Anybody I talk to that you don't do crypto, I'm getting you a ledger. I'm getting you a MetaMask. Like, I don't care if you don't want to. You messing with me or talking to me, you about to know what this is. Period. We can't get left behind anymore. And I hate, like, we can't, bro. This is one of the last chance. I said this yesterday in public. Recession, a war, technology advancement. The 3 times in anybody's life you can increase your wealth without needing actual money. It's just gaining a skill. This is it, bro. We can't miss this for our communities, or we can't miss it for our kids. You know, we can't miss it for our kids' kids.
Yeah, I think, man, you're hitting it right on the head because, you know, a lot of people are fearful right now. It's funny how people are, you know, now I'm getting calls and texts, man, you all right?
Me too.
I saw on CNBC, man, that whole thing crap. I'm like, man, where y'all was at last year when I was out here running up? But, you know, I'm glad.
How much money you lose? I'm like, go get
Yeah.
Like,
man, you're okay. I'm like, man, I ain't heard from you in a year. That's all you guys. But I'm glad that this is happening because a lot of trash is being washed out the market, and it was getting too loud. Like, you know, you said something really powerful. It's like there's all these experts out here, and people don't know who to listen to, and it was getting just too loud. You know, we see it with
every influencer. Influencer, every athlete, every actor. It's like, come on, guys.
Everybody had
obviously you're just regurgitating the same thing. And I get it, like Israel Moses from the top down, and people are just listening to Twitter spaces, okay, and going to another space and saying the same thing. It's like, bro, you're not actually doing anything beneficial. You're not actually being a voice or creating a voice that's making people think about deeper things. And that's what I realized, like, yeah, coming to here, I was like, yeah, that's what I have to do. It's like you have to make people think, ask harder questions. People ain't doing that. People regurgitating the same stuff, bro. I'm like, nah, we ain't got time for that. We need to advance our community.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's getting quiet again, and this is
quiet.
You know, I had somebody from high school. They texted me and it was just, no, you probably must see it. But he texted me and he was like, man, I'm getting out the market, and I'm like, the market's down. Yeah. I was like, buy low, sell high. He was like, yeah, I know that's what you're supposed to do, but I'm out. And I'm just like,
he just said I'm out. Why he out? He
and then
we can't be friends. We can't be friends. That mindset. We can't lose my number too.
I'm gonna keep talking to him, but then he was like, when the bull market comes back, then I'll get back in. And I was just like,
that's not how this works.
Right. You know, so it's so many different areas that we do have to teach on. Is like there's the technology part of it that people need to understand, but then just general financial literacy. You know, it's just like the psychology around money is just so interesting. You know, people can go in the store and they see a 75% off sign and they'll buy stuff on credit, but let their 401k go down, let their crypto go down, and then they sell, and then it goes back green, and then they buy, and then it goes red, and they sell. And it's just amazing that, you know, that exists in this. But there's a lot of trash that's being flushed out. You know, Celsius. I got a story about Celsius. You know, I had some money on there. Anchor. I had some money there. is getting flushed out. There's one guy, I won't say the name. He's real loud. You know, he wears his millies and his Pateks, and he's going Gucci shopping all the time. And he has, you know, this protocol where you put money in and you get a guaranteed 30-something% return. So if you know who it is, you know who I'm talking about. But a lot of this stuff is getting flushed out, and now it's like the focus is on the tech. And so it's good, man. You said Israel Wilson, and I had an opportunity to co-interview him a while back, and man, dude has been in the NFT space since like day one. But
I say 2012, like around, he's right, bad, man. He's OG for real, and a black OG. So it's like his instinct,
But
it's like one, it's like maybe two. Like this is like to see a black OG in crypto, where publicly speaking, trying to put up the knowledge for free, encouraging, enlightening, and then bringing other black people on. into his businesses so he can help grow yours, and you can bring other people. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make an umbrella of NFT Corporation, all black owned, all black businesses, and he believes in equity. So he's like 1% equity in multiple businesses. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you on that. That's how we make real money. Well, I don't want 100 equity in one business where I get 1% equity in multiple businesses that all make money.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
dude, we're honestly, he's a philosopher. He's bro.
Yeah,
well, my biggest issue is a lot of people are like when Winston said earlier, they got too much information out there and people don't know who to trust, especially when people talk about crypto, stocks, and real estate, and how you can buy rental cars and buy cars for two-roll, or you can get grants from the SBA. They got all this trash out there, and so a lot of people are like, they don't know what to do. They don't know which direction they want to go in, because at one point they got us guys like us who saying crypto is the future, but then they got people. Nothing is bad about it, but they got people that focus on strictly solely real estate, and they say real estate is forever because people always need somewhere to stay. And then they got people that strictly on stocks. If you want to make money, you got to invest in these stocks. You got to learn how to invest. You got to know about futures, stock options, all these other stock strategies or whatever. So there's too many industries that are popping right now by being promoted by social influencers, and regular Joes are just doing what these people say verbatim instead of doing actual research and training. So I think that's a huge issue. Like I never even the guy you talk about Israel. What's his name? Israel. What was his name?
Wilson.
I never even heard of him. Like it's my first time hearing about him until you said something. So that's another issue that we're not also publicizing or promoting our black entrepreneurs who are in the tech space or blockchain space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why we created the show to get the word out. But that's where I think the issue lies. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on put on that. Like I said, blockchain in black community isn't attractive, man. As a black man trying to date, I'm like, I talk to my black women friends around the world, bro. The most unattractive thing to have on your dating profile is crypto and NFTs. Like, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when I talk to women, like, since that's what I do in my spare time, and that's my hobbies, bro. They're not trying to hear that. Like most of the, and quote from both any guy that comes to me talking about crypto and NFTs, they automatically think you're a broke dude who doesn't do anything for your life, and you're gonna be a bum. That is like the sentiment, bro. So yes, you're right. We need to change it. You're 100% right. Like 100% right.
So
you're laughing because you know it's true.
You serious? So if you go out with a girl, me for context, me and Winston are married.
Yeah, that's my experiences.
So you telling me if they think you're in crypto, they think you broke.
And this is women telling me, educated women who make money, like they're, they're settled, right? They're secure. These are very, successful women. They're telling me this, like, yes, that is the common. To the point she said before they swipe, they text their girlfriends or call them on video chat, then make fun of the guy before they swipe left on them. Again, a woman told me this. Multiple women told me this.
All right, well.
So yes, we have to fight a very strong uphill battle, which also kills it because when I see the black woman here, also I mentioned this in a conference twice. This whole experience of me dating in the tech field, and all the black tech women who own the business were just like, I can't believe you're struggling. It's because you guys all work in tech.
Yeah, it's and that goes to the point that you was talking about earlier. We 10 years behind, so fast forward 10 years, when this is common, and NFTs, are the new Louis and the new Gucci and et cetera, then it'll be different. But largely, unfortunately, people have to have a base layer understanding, and a lot of times, when stuff is explained, it's so high level to people just like, man, I don't, I know I probably should get into that, but it's just like, either one, it's not presented in a way where it's interesting. And then two is like, man, it's work. Like I gotta, buy this and then, install this. And, right there, when you say install, people just like, all right,
you got pass phrases. No one wants to do pass key phrases.
I got nobody definitely want to do a digital hard key. So, a hard key. Sorry, that's a hard key.
You're right. Make it entertaining, man. You're right about that. A woman told me, she was like, "Well, you're boring." And I was like, "Well, I mean, like, she's like, you got to make it more entertaining." Yeah. So you're right. It needs to be more attractive, more entertaining. It needs to look fun. You're right, because a lot of people don't because it doesn't look entertaining. Like it's not fun. And it's not. I'll give him that. It's not. But
I would say this is even me being a technical IT person with a tech background. It's a lot to learn about blockchain, and it's a huge learning curve. So I can see why a regular person would be frustrated with cryptocurrency, because when I come on the show, I be learning something different week. I mean, just us talking on a text thread, I be learning something from y'all. So because crypto is such a huge space to know. So what would y'all recommend someone to do just to learn just the basic information? Like, should they just learn how blockchain works and then go from how the basis of blockchain, then go to NFT and learn about NFTs, and then once you finish learning about NFTs, then go to smart contracts just to know the basics? Well, you think that will cover everything for a basic person to understand?
Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I need to look up this book, but I was I'm not a book guy myself, but man, I don't know that book. Honestly, just the origins of blockchain, the basics. So everybody need to have a good fundamental, good core strength, right? So fundamentals, right? The origins of blockchain, and not only that, the reason why we code and why code exists. Those are the fundamentals. You can't really move forward in blockchain without knowing those. Personally, I mean that's the facts. And after that, you can look in smart contracts. But I mean, you don't need to do smart contracts. You want someone to code, or you're a collector.
Okay. Winston?
Yeah, I would say, it's kind of like, all right, we look at any asset class, this is specifically tech. So it's like, there's so many different angles that you can come in. I do agree with Marcus that you need to have at least a base layer understanding of what it is, like what is blockchain. So even if you start with, like how I started, I mean, I didn't know what it was. I just played videos and it was like Chinese when I first got into it. But, as I just kept listening. So, I like tech. I like listening to most people think it's like extremely boring, but I do like hearing about all the different, proof of work versus proof of stake and all that, and sharding and ZK rollups. And I mean, all that stuff.
Rollups. Yeah, they're talking about that here too. Yeah.
All that's interesting to me, but I understand for most people it's not. So I have a friend that doesn't really understand blockchain, but he's successful at flipping NFTs. And so he doesn't know, like he can't even, like we talk, and I assume because he was so successful in flipping NFTs that he had a base layer understanding with blockchain, and he doesn't.
No, you don't need no blockchain to flip NFTs, yeah.
Right, but that's his niche, And so I would say it's like, okay, what's interesting to you? I'm sure there's something in blockchain itself that appeals to that. If it's luxury brands, it's Luxo. If it's specifically NFT, it's like there's so many different ways to get into this, and I think people could start there and then go down that rabbit hole, and then it'll open up for you. But it's just like anything, and then you might hear some stuff and be like, "This is just not for me." So I don't want to push it on everybody like you have to be here, but you will be here. That's the part. That's why we try to tell people.
That's my thing. Like people need to know, like blockchain technology is here to stay. Like it's coming. You need to know blockchain just like you need to know financial literacy. But I think people just don't. They just think, blockchain gonna fade away. Like, no, blockchain is here to stay.
Yeah. So I want to be with Jerry. You were mentioning earlier about eventually how we would get adopted in the Black community, like normalized, right? Sadly, as much as we're going to try and push our education, do what we can. Historically, these pushing efforts haven't really resulted into positive in our culture and communities. So, like, be realistically, honestly, sadly to say it, but I don't think our culture is really going to fully adopt it and normalize it until we federally and state-wise get like social security cards, birth certificates, state IDs, licenses like that, both on a blockchain. Your mortgage, your car warranty, maintenance, stuff for your insurance. Like when those get federally mandated and put on blockchain, sadly, that's probably when it's going to get mass adopted. Like things like that have to be blockchain moving forward. And I understand a lot of people it's going to take a lot of jobs. Sadly, there are a lot of paper push jobs that don't need to be there. We're wasting a lot of money. Like think of when you buy a house, freaking lending officers, the signing, I forgot what it's called, man. I just forget. But the onboarding, what's it called? Those people, the contracts and the insurance.
Oh, you're talking about
underwriting. Yeah, the underwriting process, man.
Yeah, underwriting. Yeah,
money. We spend. I don't know how much you guys spend, but I think my underwriting all charged me like $8,000 for all that
You
crap.
talking about when you do the closing, like the
underwriting
you
process.
talking about the closing, you talking about the title places.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, underwriting. So my
Yeah.
point of view is like, did you know there's companies now that use machine learning and AI to reduce that living cost and also make it so it only takes less than 10 minutes? So these companies taking weeks. So you imagine that on blockchain. Just saying, like, so yeah, it's gonna happen, but I don't know it's gonna happen until, like I said, it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be normalized. It's gonna be forced. It's gonna be like, you need to get the new ID by this date. Remember when the real ID is rolled out? It's gonna be like that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's when people gonna take it seriously. Once
Yeah, but that's
it's
gonna be too
mandated,
late.
but it's gonna be too late by then.
Yeah, because now it's gonna be centralized. It's gonna be way too late by then.
Man,
I think that's truthfully answer your question. That's probably when it's going to be for our culture. It's going to be when we're forced to, because we need to go to a plane or get our ID so we can go to a freaking shop to get a beer or fly somewhere. Like, it's not. Truthfully, our culture isn't going to do it to better our wealth or our intelligence, unless we're just shoving it and you just know, like you said, you know us. You're in this field, like you said, Winston. It's quiet in the social space, but if you're in the builders and creators, we're all traveling right now. This whole month is nothing but NFT conferences. Everybody's linking up, drinking, networking, and working on projects. People are making new projects. Infrastructure is getting built again, version 3. New bridges are getting made. New UXs are getting identified and created, so people don't have to worry about clicking on different wallets and doing all this crap. So now, outside of the bear market, people think, oh, there's nothing happening. You're asleep. People who are in this scene, we are building it up, and y'all are gonna love this shit 2 years from now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You said a lot. You said a lot. There's all right. So this is like boring to the layperson, but like the on-chain data. What it's saying now as far as the building, and where that's flowing. But even like Solana's building a phone. There's already pre-orders for a phone, and HTC is releasing the blockchain phone.
A lot of people were talking crap on Solana blockchain yesterday, actually, and Tesla.
All right. I don't know.
We can get to it later, man. That's deep stuff.
Yeah, that's
developer back in like
in-depth conversation.
Yeah, that's.
I learned a little bit about Solana that I didn't know, and I learned a lot about Tezos yesterday that I didn't know. I'm still personally a big Tezos fan, but I didn't know they were completely centralized. So now I realize that's why they do such a hard marketing push for artists, because they are fully centralized. I was like, oh, it's interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see who's the winner. In
There's
that,
gonna be no winner. There's gonna be a bunch of roads. There's no need. We were talking about yesterday. No one needs to win. We need multiple blockchains. We need multiple coins. They all do different things. They're all made for different developing standards. There's no more. Oh, there's gonna be a king. No. We all are gonna work together. This sector is going to evolve together. We're either gonna combine. That's it. We're just gonna combine. Period.
Yeah. I wasn't necessarily talking about like a winner, but there's gonna be some losers. Like top 10. It will change next year, 5 years from now. So that's going to continue to evolve. But you're absolutely right. The mass NFT, and it probably won't even be called NFTs then.
I think the same thing. It won't, because I think it's too much of a technical term, right?
Right.
So people kind of get lost in that, and even like with cryptocurrency, I hardly say currency. I'm just like just crypto, because people get lost in that, and I'm just like, okay, but it's
22 months in data.
Use this.
You can't say crypto anymore.
Yeah. So
a marketing chick told me literally 2 days ago. She's like, "What's your name of your gallery?" I said, "It's the Roster Crypto Gallery." She's like, "Ooh." Nowadays, when people think about crypto, they think it's scam. You got to change that. I was like, and it was interesting because she's a marketing for a living. So when she told me that, it just damn.
It does make sense, though.
Yeah, she's telling me the truth. And she's like, you need to turn it. She's like, you have to have NFT in the name. And I was like, what? And she said what you said. Eventually, NFTs won't be called NFTs. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. But originally, she was like, change it to Roster NFT Gallery, Crypto Gallery. She's like, don't do it. So against what you're saying, I can 100%. Real world experience from another person outside of the blockchain, still agreeing to what you're saying.
Yeah. It's gonna be forced on us in so many different ways. So the central bank digital coins are coming, and if you want,
Massachusetts already did it. That's right. Massachusetts Bank already did it. I think things Massachusetts. There's 2 banks. They already let you hold crypto assets in their bank locally.
So it's coming. I mean, some other countries they already have their versions of it, and they will say that if you hold your money in the currency, the regular currency, you're going to get a negative 2% interest rate, or you can have our beautiful government ran central bank coin, and you can get a 1% interest rate.
FDIC insured.
It's going to be FDIC assured. The regular dollar is not going to be FDIC assured no more after this date. What is everybody going to do? You want your snap? You got to get this new blockchain.
Damn, let's go. But that's true.
So
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So on that centralized banking structure, on that one, so I would love to ask you, how do you feel about ownership, right? So actually being your own custodian of your crypto assets versus letting a centralized banking infrastructure that's supposedly insured by a federal institution holding it. How do you feel about that? Personally, I'm more educated than most. So I'm more about taking full control of my own finances and managing my own crypto assets personally and being my full custodial owner. But how do you feel about that? I mean, if you don't have the keys, it's not your crypto, basically. So people are giving out and letting these banks, our banks are FDIC assured, and they're going to give you that 2 to 3%. But at the end of the day, it's still not your crypto, and they're probably lending your crypto out and leveraging to make more money off you anyway. Let's be real. So I want to know how do you feel about that?
So I have my ledger and I have the bulk of my crypto in cold storage. But I think this is what's going to happen. For the average person, they ain't gonna care nothing about no keys and they ain't gonna know what it is, right? And so I think it's going to kind of be like gold. Like right now, you have people that have physical gold, but you can't really do anything with it. You still, if you want to convert your gold into something liquid, like you still are going to have to go through an intermediary. It's like no matter what the asset is, even if it's your house, in order for you to use that in a liquid manner, you got to go through some process. So I think for those like some people have silver and gold, in storage, I think it's going to be the same thing. So there's going to be a segment of us that are in the know that's going to have our keys. But when we're ready to buy a house or we're ready just to buy some groceries with our crypto, we're still going to have to use the federal, whatever it is, there'll still probably be some back end, channels where, we're going to be if we want to stick true to what crypto is supposed to be, like we're going to be like the Alaskan Bush people, and they're like, okay, if you want to live in this world where you want to hold your own keys and you want to keep your own crypto, then you're going to have to be off the grid and we're going to have to use the secret rails. And I mean,
you're talking about the sovereign citizens. You're talking about the sovereign citizens. I got you.
Yeah, there you go. We're gonna
basically,
sovereign citizens. But to the day-to-day, if we want to live comfortably, like we do now, we're gonna have to, we use a cell phone and debit cards, and it's just like.
We'll see. I mean, you use Ledger Live. I'm sure I know you use the app. Ledger's development team is crazy, and they're based in Europe, man, and they got a lot of interaction, like hardware wallet connections. From what I've seen, API it's getting adopted. So I can see maybe in banks in the future just being like, no, because banks still want you as a customer. Why wouldn't they just install the API for Ledger and let people just connect with the Ledger and continue interacting? I don't see why you would be forced to go off from cold storage just so you can interact in the real world. I don't think that's true, because currently right now you can interact in the real world on cold storage and not have to connect anything.
You know why?
Because
Ledger, they don't have a storage of AR-15s and AK-47s. But
you know about the U.S. dollar being backed by the military. Got it.
It's just like at the end of the day, we can kind of see it now. The original white paper for Bitcoin, it lives in a certain segment, but the whole idea of the utopia state of what crypto is supposed to be is like the ship of sail,
Oh yeah.
It's like it's long gone, and so it's going to be this quasi type. It's all going to be integrated, but I don't know. I'm an investor, so I have there's a part of me that I'm like, I got my cold storage. But then, from an investment side, I'm just like, okay, JP Morgan is getting involved. We know how this is going to shake out. So
yes, we do. They were mining crypto on their desk?
Man,
what?
The game is cold, bro. The game.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that, dude. JP Morgan has a Bitcoin mining building. They have their own campus. Let's be real.
Right. The game.
Don't let them fool you. They've been doing it for years, by the way, like years. I forget. There's an article that states what day they started because the wallets and everything. Yeah, it was like a requirement for the employees to have their own mining rigs on their desks. It's a whole article on it. It's crazy. They aren't the only ones though. There's others too. Yeah,
Wow.
the thing. You're like, what? Yeah. You're like, I never heard of this. Why would they tell you? Why would the rich tell you how they get richer?
True. Hey, that is a very true statement. Wow. Wow, they got a rig. Wow.
Yeah, there's all kind of stuff
It's
that's
all kind of back in. Yeah.
Like Mr. Wonderful, Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful. Like since ESG is this whole thing, they talking about like clean Bitcoin mining, and we're gonna mark the Bitcoin.
Everybody's talking about that.
It's so crazy, but it's just like okay, how? So we're gonna tag the Bitcoin. You can only spend this type of Bitcoin. That's how I said like. That's where it's going to be like, okay, do you want to play over here and have your, your nice white picket fence and all that stuff? You want to live the regular American life, or you can keep your, my keys, my crypto, but you're gonna be way out there in the woods.
I'm going off the grid, baby. I'm going off the grid. I got my solar panels and I'm ready.
Man, well, see, that's Jared. You see, this is a single man talking right here. See when
what they told me when I was about to get married, once you become domesticated, your way of thinking domesticated. You become like how they do animals and dogs and stuff like once you become domesticated, because right now you a wild animal.
You wild, yeah. I mean, I'm going off the grid.
You know what I'm saying? But once you get domesticated, I was like, man, what you talking about? Man, I'm gonna be me. After 10 years of marriage, I understand.
10 years of marriage.
I understand completely. They're gonna break you down, bro. It's just gonna happen. No, so you still gonna be you, but you ain't gonna be able to move like you're moving now, bro. I'm telling you now. It's gonna hurt too. It's gonna hurt at first. But then you gonna slowly adjust to it. Then you gonna come through. All right, well, I ain't got to do it. All right, let me just chill.
I keep
you
half
got me domesticated.
I keep half the other half,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I was laughing so because he know. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be domesticated, bro. It's gonna hurt. I'm telling you, bro, it's gonna hurt, bro.
Happens to the best of us, bro.
Married, bro.
Sounds like it hurt me more than it hurt you. I don't think I'm ready for that.
Man, that's a good thing. Married men live longer.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Bro.
A woman told me that. I was like,
what? With the right person.
It's true. It's
No, she did. She showed me some statistical facts, data on that. I was like, okay, you got me.
Hey, rest in peace. But Kevin Samuels talking that noise, be gone. So married men live longer.
All right, I got you. Yeah, you're right. Extend my life. Yeah.
I know.
Married men do live longer. That is a crazy
They do.
Very, very.
They do.
Don't worry, bro. You gonna find your significant other, bro. She out there somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gonna find her when we ain't looking for most of the time.
We should probably be in the metaverse.
Yes.
Y'all laugh. This lady told me yesterday she wanted her first date in the metaverse. I was like, yo, that's pretty dope.
That's gonna be normal though.
It is a normal, bro. I need to get my own metaverse home.
Oh, you gonna go on the first date at the metaverse?
This was a grown woman, and she wasn't ugly, bro. She was actually like I thought she was attractive for a white woman. I don't even fuck a white woman, but she was bad. Like, yo, she told me she had 2 kids, and she was like, "My first date in the metaverse." I was like, "What? So what? You can't pull men in real life? Because I can talk to you right now." But it turns out, like metaverse home stations are a thing. Like honestly, I need my own metaverse home so I can invite my friends, a private location so we can just hang out and chill. Like that's the thing. People are doing it, man. It's international. It's not just locals. Like people are making friends around the world. Like it's a whole another thing. Like no one cares about your friends in your local city anymore. People care about the friends they have in Amsterdam and Russia. Like no one's doing this whole local friend thing anymore. Everybody is internationally linking up, man. It's crazy.
It's like CryptoCon. I mean, not CryptoCon, Comic-Con. It's kind of like that. I don't know if y'all heard Comic-Con, all that stuff.
I never been, but obviously I've seen the videos and stuff.
I told my wife I was going to that. She was like, "You on your own." But that's kind of like what Metaverse is now, because you get in there, you see people with wings and Halo, all kind of crazy stuff. And like the crazier it is, like the cooler, so it's a whole different mindset. So I could see myself.
The next video chat we do, I'll throw on my actually I planned it, but I was gonna be at home, but a little dip. I've been working into the avatar space, and I'll go ahead and next video chat I'll show you my anime's avatar character. that I use for my not full body, but it's like facial tracking a little bit, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
So what are the well, since y'all brought this up, what are the big metaverse platforms? Like, are people meeting up on using the Facebook?
Man,
Oculus?
I was saying honestly, it looks like Alt Labs is really picking up on Oculus on Oculus is really Alt Labs and VR chat, but Alt Labs is really Alt Space. I'm sorry guys, Alt Space is the name of the application, Oculus Quest. That's the one that's really seems to be picking up steam on PC. VR chat, obviously, and then for the crypto bros, it's Decentraland and then Sandbox.
Okay.
My neighbor Alice is still there, but I haven't heard about them in a long time, so I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know what happened to them. And then Polka Dot City is another one. They're doing okay. They've been picking up steam because of Decentraland past couple of years. That's all I'm tracking right now.
Okay. All right. So there was one more thing I want to go over before we get out of here. So what do you think about what's it called? The staple coin USDC. The company, the crypto hedge fund, 3 Arrows Capital, they defaulted on their loan for $670 million because the crypto market went down. So, what do you all think about people who invest in these stable coins that's supposed to be backed and guaranteed? What do you think is going to happen in the future of those?
Well, I thought we talked about that before.
Right?
These stable coins, all those coins, man, those backs supposed to peg to whatever. To me personally, they never needed to be there. Like if at the end of the day, we were moving into a hybrid, decentralized, centralized blockchain technology environment. Why do we need a middle bridge just so you can get your fiat one-to-one? It didn't really make any sense to me personally, and I don't understand why they're there. It's really algorithmic backed stable coins. Historically has never been successful, so I don't know what you guys are doing. We don't need it. I don't think it necessarily exists. And honestly, at the beginning, I truly believe the reason that we even had these coins stabled was so people could do freaking wash trading without getting in trouble. Honestly, I don't see any reason why you need it at all. Just move it back to fiat or keep it in crypto. I guess it's just there because people feel unsafe. They want a potentially fake safe place. It sounds attractive because think about all the marketing. It was like zero risk. Keep your money here. It's okay. Protect against volatility of the market. Blah blah blah. Always one-to-one whenever you need it, at whatever time. Until a bank run happens. Celsius. Like let's be real. And everybody else that no one's talking about that's crashing to this day. So it's like no, it should have never been there. But that's my opinion. I just think it was there for money laundering, washing, black market kind of stuff. Just things that we are currently working to clean out of the crypto environment.
Okay. What about you, Winston?
Yeah, I think they'll always be there. Not one algorithmic stable coin is working. Now, well, let me back up a little bit. DAI is a unique case. That's the original, the OG. So, but I mean, it's over collateralized and it's a whole different thing. But like the UST thing, which basically caused the cascade of it, it basically was a fake peg coin, like what Marcus was talked about. It's pegged one-to-one, supposedly pegged one-to-one to the US dollar, but it's all based on an equation, on a computer code. And so there was really no funding there, but they were taking the money that people were putting on there and they were leveraging it, and so they were taking out loans, and then these VCs were putting money on there, and then they were taking out leverage. So what's interesting is that the same thing that's happening now with 3 Arrows Capital. 3 Arrows Capital is huge. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars from a hedge fund. 3 Arrows Capital, BlockFi, Voyager, Nexo. Well, Nexo's not in trouble, I don't think. But they all were taking collateral and they were borrowing with each other. And so when one popped, it just is cascade. And so,
effect, yeah.
I mean, it's basically like the 2008 in crypto. This is like what we're experiencing now. And it's just so ironic because crypto was created to be the anti-establishment and anti-bank. But here we are, repeating the same as it's Hunger Games. It really is like the same stuff that was supposed to be the opposite of what crypto is. And what crypto is supposed to be, what that was, has played out in crypto. And so like Lehman Brothers and all these companies that were too big to fail back then, once a bubble pops, everything's just being rinsed out. So, and me personally, this is me talking. I think USDC in particular will be
That's the only one.
I think, but because of the relationships that they've established with a lot of regulators, I think that will be the CBDC that's coming. That's what. No, that's just my personal opinion. I really don't have any proof for that.
I got money. I have money in USDC. I admit that's why I personally, that's the only stablecoin I do have something in, because you're right. The regulations are very happy with USDC. Like you're saying, regulatory senators, they got some partnerships in the back end. They're lobbying really well. The lobbying, I looked into it recently. Actually, crypto lobbying has surpassed any other lobbying firm to date. So it's there. Man. The policies are getting the backhand handshaking is getting done.
Regulation is here, so like I said, the ship is sailed. So we probably could just do a whole episode on stable coins, because right now, like, you look at stuff on CNBC and they're all kind of like lumped in together. And so I'm just like, okay, well, we need to kind of break down, different types, like this frax. One is, algorithmic and is reserve, fraction reserve. Then there's USDC that actually has cash reserves. And then there was UST, which was just all algorithm. So, it's like, it just depends, I guess. But
I'm still waiting for Tether to fall. I don't know why Tether. I don't know how Tether hasn't fallen yet. I was literally praying. I was like, come on, like, come on.
Not praying for Tether to fall, man.
Yes, I am.
I'm
praying for Tether to fall.
Not pray. No, I don't have any Tether.
Oh, me neither.
But man,
how big the market cap is and how it's going to hurt.
It's
like half our market cap right now. And guess what? We need it. Let's take the hurt right now, so that when all the market goes down, I can buy as much as I can again. Dude, it's going to happen. It's unavoidable. I'm sorry, but USDT, they've never been successful audited. Do you know that company is sketch? Every investigation I've ever seen her at, that company,
man.
No,
praying for Tether to fall. It was like asking the Federal Reserve not to put all that money we was talking about that got pumped into
the quantitative easing.
That's like saying don't give no stimulus and just let it. Now that should happen. We need that to happen.
Yes, that's what we need it to happen. It has to happen.
People are not ready for that type. I'm not ready for that type of pain. People,
but if it doesn't happen now, think about it.
I like my chicken wings, bro. I like my chicken wings. We cannot afford for certain bubbles to pop.
But when was a good time? If it doesn't happen now, we're in a bear market. We're going to be in America for another 2 years. By the time we build out new things in tech, in the blockchain, Tether can't be there, bro. It can't. Because if it falls, when we actually have mainstream people on it, that's going to hurt. That's going to keep the mainstream adults from ever hitting it. If it hurts us right now, we're just the geeks. We're already here. We don't care. Let it hurt.
It's not. They're not going to let it. It's just.
That's like saying we weren't going to get that 0.75 interest point hike, and now people say we're going to get a legit 1% interest rate hike. Yeah, I knew it was coming too. So why you can tell me Tether isn't going to fall?
No, this is what I'm saying. That's like saying the Federal Reserve. I mean, we know what the Fed does. That's just like saying we need let the biggest bank in America just let the biggest one. I don't know if that's Chase. I think it's Chase. I think it's Chase. Yeah, it's like saying, dude, Chase got all these bad policies and they do all this stuff. Let Chase pop. We need Chase to pop. Man, do you know what cascading effect? We talking about soup line territory.
I understand how many VC funds will go down. I understand how many bullshit projects will go down. But again, that is what we need in the space right now.
Man,
personally, to me, to get the space really cleaned up, if Tether disappeared, we would have no more. Like, imagine how many rugs would disappear, how many scans would go. Like, if Tether wasn't around, it would be a cleaner space, man.
It'd be another Tether. It would be pleather.
Okay. The thing is, Tether shouldn't exist. Like, Tether should never have the ability to be able to just print infinite amounts of money and be like, oh, but we're in a unsovereign location, so your rules don't apply to us. We can do what we want. And no, we're never getting audited. And no, you can't see if it's 1-to-1. Like, you don't even know how much money we have in anything. What do you mean?
But that's crypto, right?
That's not. I've never bought into a project, so I cannot transparently see the liquidity.
Code is law. Code is law, right?
No, I just said no. If I can't see physically liquidity-wise in your code where that wallet is and look at the wallet treasury, I am not. No, I'm sorry, because I can read code. So, you're right, code is law, but your code will add up to logistics and actual numbers. You're a scam.
Hey,
I'm
man,
sorry.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree here. I don't like Tether, but if that bubble pop, man, we talking about $100 Bitcoin. We talking about
Which is
$5
great.
each.
Dude, I'm down. And no, I don't want to go that low. Bitcoin will go down to like $2,000, not 100. That's dramatic. And Ethereum now, that's going to go down to like the 120, 135. And honestly, this year, I'm thinking Ethereum's going to hit
$135.
Yes. If Tether fell, that's 40% of the cryptocurrency market, or 50%. It's like 40 billion. I mean, I don't know what the market cap is right now. Last time I checked, it was like 44 billion. Man, so I can imagine if half the crypto marketplace lost all that liquidity. Yeah, it's cut everything down to half. So Bitcoin would go down. Like, if we just do that, Bitcoin would go down to like what, $7,000? Tether, yeah, I can see that. And Ethereum go down to like 200, 300.
Man, look, I like my chicken wings, and I like
just because sell, no one's gonna sell. I mean, some people are gonna sell, but us, we're gonna hold, which means it'll bounce. It'll be fine.
Okay, so my next question after the debate.
He's like, this guy's crazy. He was ruling the market. What's wrong with this dude? He's like, he's wild over here.
My last thing, since the fall of all stable coins, some of the stable coins that the market going down, some of the brokerage firms, I don't think, was it Coinbase? I can't remember what it was Coinbase. Other brokerage firms will not allow people to withdraw their money, their cryptocurrency or withdrawal or whatever like that. So what advice would you give people who have like lump sum of money or crypto in Coinbase or Uphold or any other crypto brokerage companies? What do you recommend in certain situations like that, or to prevent it?
So me and Winston were talking about it earlier, man, to be able to, like I said, custody, full control of your wallet versus centralized control. Situations like this is why I'm on team custody, is because when Celsius shutdown happened, like I said, some of the smaller decentralized exchanges and some of the smaller centralized exchanges were like paused withdrawals or limited withdrawals. Yeah, if you had a ledger, that didn't affect you. You didn't care. You were just like, okay, you're the person who decided to keep your money and let somebody else store your keys. Again, not your keys, not your crypto, bro. If you're not holding those keys, you don't have any control, period. So yes, any exchanges should be like pause. Sorry. And that's why I asked Winston how he felt about the holding custody versus not, because a lot of people were mad about that. It's like, well, you guys weren't educated. If you had cold wallets, you would know to keep your crypto on your own wallet. You can buy on the exchange, but transfer it off. Or now Ledger Live lets you buy, depending where you live, crypto built in, so you don't even have to go to an exchange. They got their partners. What was it, MoonPay and CoinFi? Yeah, those are two they partnered with. None of them work in Louisiana still. Our legislation sucks. Like, they don't. I've tried. It don't. Just being transparent. Anybody who's reading, Marcus said this, they go and try it. This didn't work. It doesn't work in Louisiana.
What about you, Winston?
Yeah. So the majority of your crypto holdings need to be in cold storage, and that should be 101. Blockchain 101 crypto, but the reality is that most people are on-ramping onto crypto through Coinbase, Robinhood, PayPal, something similar, because it's easy, right? Ledger Live is easy, but it's not that easy. It's not what my grandma was going to use. It's not use Cash App to buy a Bitcoin and keep it there. So unfortunately, people are learning the hard way about bank runs. People are learning the hard way about liquidity. And crypto teaches you about what liquidity is. It teaches you about trading pairs. There's not like infinite money out here. And a lot of people on the stock side learn when the whole, Robinhood, AMC, GameStop thing happened. People learn about clearing. They learn about liquidity, and they learn that apps crash. And so it's a hard lesson to learn about volatility in the space, about a lot of people using apps, but bank runs happen. I mean, in the real world, we saw what happened in Greece around 2009. People were standing outside and they can only get $100 at the time. And, thankfully, we haven't really had anything like that in the States in a very long time. But the reality is, in your bank account, that can happen. FDIC insurance exists because the bank tells you, like, if there is a bank run, if we need to freeze everything, we can only guarantee up to 250. Like everything else is lost. So if we lose everything, we'll guarantee up to 250. But after that, all bets are off. And so, the biggest of the biggest, when Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, all them fall, you had no access to your capital. Yeah. So I will definitely spend more time teaching people about cold storage. Unfortunately, man, y'all, most people are still gonna hold their stuff on Robinhood and Coinbase and et cetera, et cetera. So we just got to keep preaching that, to everybody. Only use the exchange to exchange. That's what it's for. But we're trusting people like we trusting the bank. So it's read your disclosures. It's boring, terms and conditions, but a lot of them are telling you you're not actually holding crypto. You're lending your fiat.
Yeah, you're lending. You see the key word. A lot of companies put.
Yeah.
Oh, you breaking up.
Oh, they don't want him to tell you. I don't want people to know.
That's what happens every time. Every time it freezes.
Oh man, this was good. This is good. We had some banter on here. We went off on some tangents. Talked about stuff that you might have to clip out before you post it, but
we'll be all right. All right. Well, I'll wait for Marcus to pop back on if you can. Winston, tell people where they can follow you at.
Just look up Metarize on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, on Audius, and also Theta TV. So Metarize is where you'll find my content. And then also, the website metarize.tech. Type that in if you're looking for a one-on-one session or a group counseling session, virtual or in person. Here in the Metro Atlanta area. So, but virtually I can meet you anywhere.
Exactly. Hopefully Marcus come back. Of course, I'm there. You can follow me at Lagniappe Legends on IG, Lagniappe Legends Podcast on Facebook, even with LagniappeLegends.com. And make sure you follow and share this episode on Crypto Connection, which you can follow on Facebook, on the Facebook page, Crypto Connection, and a YouTube channel, The Crypto Connection. All right. I don't think Marcus will make it back in time. So thank you all for watching. Tune in. Make sure you put your crypto on a hard wallet. Oh, Marcus coming. There you go. He just came back. All right, Marcus, tell the people where they can follow you at, bro.
Mr_Rosser on Instagram, Twitter, and my link tree and all those on my Instagram, Twitter as well. Facebook, YouTube, Mr. Rosser, Marcus Rosser, and Facebook, Marcus Lanier Rosser.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next time. Peace.